Hi, welcome to Interruption Management Episode 2. In the last episode, we saw the concepts and we learned the concepts of interruption management. Also, we saw some of the real time cases where we could get interrupted and we were seeking solutions for the same. In this episode, we are going to learn few more concepts before we really get into solving the first case study, which is about you are having a task to finish on hand and your immediate boss calls you for a discussion which you pretty well know that he wants to interrupt you deliberately. Before we get into the solution for this, let us understand the difference between distraction and disruption. Distraction is something that you choose. You choose to get distracted by mobile, by watching suddenly TV, some of the serials that you cannot let go while you are having lots of work to do. And you cannot avoid relatives, you don't want to rather, even when you have a task to be completed. Whereas disruption is not that you choose, but it is done by others to disrupt you from your work to make sure that your task is somehow impeded. Task you cannot complete on time, and they draw some satisfaction out of this, or they want to get their jobs done before you complete your work. You can be very firm on not to get distracted and concentrate on your work. But how do I discourage such disruption? Very simple. When anybody asks you, do you have a minute? All you have to say, yes, I do have a minute, but it is going to cost you a lot of money. Will they dare to disrupt you then? As Edward Deming says, an average worker gets 70 interruptions a day, most of which is not related to work. This is true for every person, in every country, in every culture, irrespective of where you stay and where you work. Therefore, in order to manage interruption, we are actually going to learn and follow what I called a D3A formula. What is D3A? What are these 3 Ds? 1. Decision. 2. Defer. 3. Discourage. And the final A is action. Let's see how it works. In decision component, you have to decide how much time you are going to spend uninterrupted and what are the tasks on hand, how much it will take, what is the cushion that you are to give, and till what time you want to go uninterrupted by any event. When we say defer, it calls for some bold action from your side. Learn to say no. If you don't want to hurt people by a blunt no, maybe you can agree with him a future time and date, and also you can tell him or her how much time you can afford even when you want to resolve certain things in future. The third D stands for discourage. How are we going to discourage? We are going to preempt any attempt to interrupt. How do we do that? You can show it through lot of non-verbal cues. You can show it through your face, you can show it through your hands, and you can perhaps make them understand that you don't want to be disturbed at any cost as of now, purely on non-verbal cues that you are going to exhibit. The final one is action. Action, you have to show it in action, either verbally or non-verbally, so that the interrupter clearly understands your stance and keep away from you or from interrupting you while you are continuing with your task. Now let us get back to our first case where your manager is bent upon disrupting you and he wants to make sure that you don't complete your task on time. So, he is going to call you many times and he is going to ask you to come to his cabin for discussions on certain very important issues according to him, but not according to you, so that he can waste your time and put you under lot of pressure. Now, the easiest way is to keep the speaker down or switch off the mobile. But it's not a very wise decision because you may be getting some very important calls, urgent calls, or even calls from the top management. So you can neither remove the speaker from the handle nor switch off the mobile phone and risk losing the information or losing the contact with the top management. So what do we do? Better still is the way to deal with it is to inform him well in advance that you will not be available till 5 p.m. Maybe he knows that and deliberately he wants to push you. So what do we do? Send an email to the top management that the work has started in the morning, it's going well, and barring any interruption, you should be able to finish the task on time with a copy or BCC to your immediate boss. This may deter the boss from calling you, fearing the wrath of his bosses. It will also give you an excuse for not attending his calls. Better still will be to request a reply from this top management saying that, yes, you will not be disturbed. We will ensure that nobody interrupts your work during this period, perhaps with a copy to your immediate boss. This may solve the problem temporarily. So friends, please tell me in your comments